Good morning, everybody. I am getting the tech set up and we will get started. Got my chat going on. Perfect. Live chat. Type in where you're watching in from. Appreciate you tuning in every Sunday, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we are about to get started. Okay, let's go. So, welcome everybody to another episode of the Restorative Longevity Podcast. I am Jimmy Yin, aka the Acu Sensei, and I am your host. And got a special topic today. Your exercise is breaking down your muscles. So, we're going to talk about exercise, energy, and muscle, how to tap into your energy sources. There's four main energy sources that your body uses. There's four main sources that your body uses to get more energy. And this can help you lose weight. It can help you build muscle. It can help you get more energy. It can get you more lively and active. But if you do it wrong, if you are looking at current research, then you could be hurting yourself. You may have a temporary surge of energy, temporary fat loss. Maybe you've lost some weight and then you start gaining it back double, triple time faster. You might get some insights looking in today. Okay. So, in alignment with our podcast, what I like to do is what is the point? The point of the podcast is there are four sources of energy. How you utilize these four sources of energy will determine if you lose weight long term. We're not talking about short term weight loss, right? So, if you're just, let's say you got a wedding planned and you need to get in that dress and that's all you care about, then any of the diets, the weight loss diets that you see all over social media, whatever, they will all work, right? That's not this channel. This channel is about restorative longevity. It's about how to get healthier longer, right? And it's sustained. It lasts for 30 years. Well, how can you lose weight and it lasts and it won't just fluctuate back up? That's what you might learn within today's topic. Okay, so your exercise is breaking down your muscles. I'm gonna share my screen and we're gonna go into because I've I think, it's easier to see it in a chart form. So let me get my screen up and going. Again, show me, type in the chat. Where are you listening from? I love to see where people are listening, tuning in on YouTube all over the world. We've got an international audience. Let's see, we're gonna go right here. And perfect. So should be able to see my screen. Energy sources, okay? We're gonna talk about energy sources today. There's four main categories of energy sources. There's four main sources, okay, that our body uses to get energy, whether it is for normal daily activities, whether it's for our brains to really just function, or if you want to burn fat. Okay, so this is where you're going to find out. Hey, what can you do? What type of exercise? When should you do it? How much should you do it? Because a lot of times people are asking the question, okay, yeah, most people just think, oh, I need to do weights, when I need to do cardio. Well, did you know if you are lifting weights the wrong way, you could also be actually breaking down your muscle. You can, most if some people when they lift weights, they want to build their muscle. They want to make their muscle stronger and bigger, right? And for some other people, they want to lift weights because they want to burn fat. Well, yes, the short answer is weightlifting, resistance training can help you do both. It can help you build muscle, it can help you get more energy, it can help you burn fat. But here's the thing that most people don't tell you. Weight training can also do the opposite of these. It can also drain your energy, it can also tear down your muscle, it can shrink your muscle, and it can also make you gain weight. What? Right? We're about to go through that in detail. And likewise, some people think, oh, I just need to do cardio. Let me just go in and do more cardio. Okay, cardio, same thing. It can help you, get healthier. It can help you burn fat. It can help you get more energy. But vice versa, it can also do the exact opposite. It can also help you uh, get more fatigued, more tired. It can also make you gain weight. Yes, cardio can make you gain weight. Okay, okay. These are the things I'm going to talk about today. Uh, and last, I would just say last before I go and dive into my chart. HIIT training. HIIT training, high interval intensity training. High intensity interval training, sorry. High intensity interval training, HIIT. People think this is the perfect way of exercising. And yes and no. Same thing. It has many benefits, but HIIT training can also cause a lot of the problems that you're suffering. It can cause you to gain weight. It can cause you to lose energy. It can actually cause you to lose muscle mass. You can shrink your muscles, if you do it the wrong way. So regardless of what everybody's saying, oh, you need to do this exercise. Yes and no. The answer is always yes and no. It can help you, but it can also hurt you, right? That's why I said your exercise is breaking down your muscle. So let's first go into the four sources of energy. There's carbs. We know carbs, glucose. We think about glucose. We have fats. We have protein. And this is a source of energy that maybe you may not have heard of. It's called ATP. It's energy produced by our mitochondria. This is popular now. It's so much focus in functional medicine and holistic practitioners is mitochondria, right? Cellular energy. That's ATP. In essence, it's producing ATP. Okay. But I'm going to show you today that focus on that mitochondria, that's so much granular focus, that's so detailed focus on it, produces very little energy for you. Okay. I'm not saying it's not important. It's super important. Every single cell in your body needs ATP to function. Okay, that is the life force. All right. So, what's the difference? Okay, how does it provide you energy? We have these four main categories. How do you get this energy? Well, carbs, you get fast energy, right? You get the energy fast. It's like sugar. You eat sugar, you get energy instantly, right? Fats, your body has to break it down. It takes a longer time. So you get energy. So if you're trying to get energy from your fat, it's broken down very slowly and you get it slowly. Protein, even worse. Protein, your body can break down. Your body can make. So this is what your body does. It will break down your muscle. Your muscle is a protein, right? It's built by it's protein blocks. So your muscle breaks down the protein into amino acids, and then your body uses those amino acids to make glucose. Glucose is the energy source. Glucose is what carbs are broken down into. Okay, so it's this process of breaking down your muscle into amino acids into glucose. It's a slow process too, just like fats. But it's costly because it's breaking down your muscle. So it's tearing down, literally breaking down your muscle. Your muscle is getting smaller, right? ATP is the fastest energy. It's immediate energy, and you'll see later that it's only a few seconds. So ATP energy is immediate. It's the fastest energy, and our bodies have just a very minimal amounts of ATP stored that we can utilize, right? So this is the speed of how we get the energy from these four main sources of energy, right? So next, let's go to high intensity interval. Carbs. So when do we need carbs? When do we use the energy from carbs the most? It's when we're doing these HIIT trainings, high intensity energy exercises, and also the brain. The brain loves sugar. If you don't realize sugar, carbs is the number one source of energy for your brain. Your brain cannot survive on ketones. It will function subpar. If you want your brain to be functioning at optimal levels, you need glucose, you need carbs. Okay. So those of you doing the low carb diet, you're hurting your brain. You're making yourself dumber. By going on the keto diet, you're making yourself dumber because keto diet produces ketones. Ketones are they're a poor source of energy for your brain. The best source of energy for your brain is glucose. It's from carbs. You need carbs. So going on a low carb diet, you are destroying your brain. You're making your brain dumber. You want to get Alzheimer's faster. You want to get dementia faster. Then just continue go on a keto diet forever, and you will get to Alzheimer's very quickly. Okay, so when we're doing high intensity exercises in our brain, normal function of our brain, not high, okay, just normal function of our brain needs carbs. Now, when do we start burning fat? When we rest. Here's if you're tuning in for fat loss, you got to pay attention to this. If you want to lose weight, pay attention to this, what I'm saying right now. When do you burn fat? The most efficient way of burning fat and the way to lose fat is when you're resting and when you're doing low to moderate activity, not the HIIT training. HIIT training doesn't make you burn fat. It's the low and moderate training that makes you burn fat. Okay. When do we start breaking down protein to make energy? When we're starving ourselves. So when you do like fasting for like 7 days or even 30 days of fasting, you're actually tearing down, you're forcing your body to tear down muscles to give you energy. Prolonged exercise. When you do, this is what I'm talking about. Your exercise is breaking down your muscle. When you are exercising too long, too much, you are hurting yourself. You are breaking down, you're forcing your body to break down your muscle tissue to give you energy. Now, ATP, when do we use ATP? Explosive, short term. Uh, so these are explosive, short bursts of activity. So sprinting, when people are doing, those athletes, when you watch the Olympics, they're doing the 100 yard dash. Those are using a lot ATP, and you use it and it's gone. Okay, it has to be regenerated. So how long? The next question is, how long do these energy sources last? Uh, for carbs, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and your carbs energy done. Fats can give you 20 to 60 minutes. 20 to 60 minutes. Let me come back to the carbs. So when you are using carbs as your energy source, it lasts for only 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and it produces something called lactate. Lactate is when you feel that soreness in your muscles when it accumulates in your muscles. Okay. Now, fats, when we use fats as energy, 20 to 60 minutes, that can give us energy for 20 to 60 minutes. Um, Okay. So after your fat, after your body uses glucose, then it starts to use fat. And this is in an aerobic. So that's when you're consuming oxygen. So, if you I don't know if you've heard anaerobic and aerobic exercises. Aerobic exercises and you're using oxygen. You're breathing in oxygen, right? Anaerobic a lot of time is like weight training, muscle training, right? Resistance training, right? So when your body finishes using the glucose, then it'll start using fat. And in aerobics, when you're consuming oxygen, now if you're not consuming oxygen, the fat loss, the fat breakdown is not as effective. This is a gradual fat use increases between 20 to 60 minutes. So here's a key component. If you want to exercise to burn fat, you don't want to go above 60 minutes. So those of y'all doing HIIT training, like a 90-minute HIIT training, I know they got programs out there, F45, Orange Theory, it's over 60 minutes. It's like 90 minutes. This is the reason why you doing 90 minutes 5 days a week, you're not losing weight. This is the reason why right here, because you aren't burning fat. You're actually starting to store fat. Okay. Um, Protein. If you do exercise, and also you're doing those HIIT trainings over 90 minutes, and you are not building your muscle. This is the reason, because when you do HIIT training over an hour, okay, your body's gonna start your glycogen is depleted. Okay, your stored glucose is depleted. Your body starts tapping into fat and muscle, but after 60 minutes your body doesn't is not tapping into fat. It starts to tap in your muscles. So after an hour of workout, your body starts to break down your muscle. Yes, it's kind of weird, right? You're doing the exercise to build muscle, but after 60 minutes, after 1 hour, you're building muscle, turns out to be breaking muscle. So this is what I'm saying. Your exercise is breaking down your muscle. After 60 minutes, your body is breaking down your muscles to make energy. Okay. That's why you're not getting stronger and you're getting weaker. ATP only lasts for 0 to 10 seconds. Again, it's those sprints, and that's it. So like your first 10 seconds of your workout, you deplete all your ATPs. Okay. Um, so carbs are stored as glycogen. Let me use another. Carbs are stored as glycogen. Okay. Your liver turns the glucose into glycogen, it stores it as glycogen. That's your carb storage of energy. Your fat storage of energy is called TG, triglycerides. Okay. If you have any questions, guys, type into the chat. Okay. I love questions so I can answer them. So type it in. Energy source. So your protein is obviously stored in your muscle tissue, right? You you eat protein, it's stored in your muscle tissue. ATP is also stored in your muscle cells. But once you use it, it's gone, right? So coming back before I move on, you think, okay, I gotta exercise, but I don't want to hurt myself, right? And I want to do all of this, the right exercise. Well, here's another thing. I'm going to throw a wrench into the equation. And this is another thing that, most people just talk about this section and then they give you an exercise plan and then you start exercising. But then it doesn't. Maybe it starts working a little, but then it stops. Here's a possible reason why it'll stop. Because when you exercise too much, too long, your body goes into what's called stress, physical stress. This is not a this is not to say you should not exercise. I don't want people saying, hey, commenting saying, hey, Jimmy told me not to work out because it's causing too much physical stress. No, no, no. There is a safe zone, right? What happens when you exercise too much? Something in your body is secreted. It's called cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone. When you exercise too much, it doesn't matter if you're doing healthy exercise. When you exercise too much, you are now destroying your health. Let me repeat that. When you are exercising too much, too long, too frequent, your body now is destroying itself. Okay. And it's destroying itself with this hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is released in response to stress. It could be physical stress, it could be mental stress. Okay, it could be a chemical stress. But cortisol is released. What does cortisol do? Cortisol causes your muscle to break down. It prevents building of muscle. It increases your blood sugar. It causes you to gain weight. So wait. Remember when I told you when you do these HIIT trainings? Now, I'm not saying HIIT training is bad for you. That's not what I'm saying. You need to do HIIT training, but I would do no more than 30 minutes of HIIT training. You do more of 30 minutes of HIIT training, you are stimulating your body to produce cortisol. So cortisol, let me just write up here. What does it do? It breaks down muscle. It releases sugar in your bloodstream. Sugar causes you to gain fat. So you could be doing your HIIT training. You could be doing, a lot of trainers will say, oh, eat carbs and protein before and after your exercise, which is all great and stuff. But if you do it the wrong way, you do too much of it, this is what happens. This is what happens. You break down muscle, so your muscle gets smaller, even though you're lifting weights. And even though you're doing tons of cardio, your body's releasing sugar and you're gaining weight. So if you ever experience, man, I'm exercising 5 days a week, but I cannot lose weight. In fact, I'm gaining weight. Here's the reason why. Because you're doing it the wrong way. You're causing your body to secrete cortisol. Cortisol causes muscle breakdown. Cortisol releases sugar into your bloodstream. So it causes you to gain fat, to gain weight, not lose weight, to gain fat. Okay? So Let's look at, the different types of activities that will stimulate cortisol. So what type of activity should you do, right? Now your question should be, well, what kind of exercise can I do without stimulating cortisol, my body to release cortisol, okay? So short and light activity, right? Short and light activity, which is 15 to 30 minutes, there's minimal cortisol rise. So if you do short and light activity for 15 to 30 minutes, cortisol barely goes up. So this is a way to burn fat and to build muscle. You do moderate activity, less than 60 minutes. This is a healthy stress. You might have small and moderate rise of cortisol, but it's minimal, right? So this is where if you want to build muscle and you want to lose weight, this is where you want to be. Moderate activity, no more than 60 minutes. I personally do 30 minutes. I personally do 30 minutes and I'm able to build muscle and lose fat. Okay. HIIT training, the popular HIIT training, that's like more than 75% of max effort. This is when cortisol rises sharply during and after your exercise. This is why when you do HIIT training, right, for too long, for really over 30 minutes, you are causing a rise in cortisol. So again, what does cortisol do? It breaks down your muscle and it causes you to gain fat and gain weight. So that's why when you're doing HIIT training for more than 30 minutes, you're going to gain weight. And if you do lose weight, it's only temporary. It will rebound back right away. Okay. Now, what does high intensity mean? It means you're at 70 to 90% of your max heart rate. There's a formula, you can Google it, look at your heart rate. These are all just different definitions of what someone's high intensity, because high intensity to you is different from high intensity for me. So how do you determine that? Well, you can do it based on heart rate, right? So if you are working out and you are constantly at 70 to 90% of your max heart rate, you are in high intensity training for you. Okay. Also, here's some other indicators. Let's say you're working out and you can barely talk. You're out of breath. You can't form full sentences and you're sweating a lot, like sweating profusely. You're doing high intensity. These are all signs you're doing high intensity. Again, don't do more than 30 minutes of this. Now, those of you may think, oh, what if I'm a long distance runner? Long endurance, more than 90 minutes, is just as bad as HIIT training. This causes a sustained high cortisol, especially if you didn't eat. So that means your cortisol stays elevated super high, right? Now you can look at, yes, those marathon runners, they don't have a lot of fat, right, on their arms and legs. But guess what? They also don't have a lot of muscle because their cortisol is breaking down their muscle. Okay. Now, what if you don't eat and you train fasted? Cortisol rises faster, right? Cortisol rises faster. And so now that doesn't mean you can't train when you are fasted. It just means you got to do it shorter. No, definitely no more than 30 minutes. Okay. And make sure it's moderate to light intensity. Overtraining and lack of rest. This is the worst thing you can do to your body. This will destroy your health. If you feel fatigued all the time, this is the worst thing you can do. You overtrain. You train 7 days a week. You don't rest, or you train heavy. You can, even if you train 3 times a week, but you're training 90 minutes every time, you're not giving your body enough time to rest. This creates chronic cortisol elevation. That means your cortisol is always high and it is always breaking down muscle, right? And have you ever noticed this? This is common for people who train, especially the weekend warriors, especially people, I would say above 40 years old and 50 years old. And you're training so hard, but you just can't build muscle. You just can't lose weight, right? And it's because you're overtraining. You never let your body calm down, the cortisol to drop. So your body's constantly, uh, you know, breaking down muscle and it's constantly building fat. But the thing is, you're working out every day. And so it's like you don't see progress. You may lose maybe up to 5 pounds, but then you gain it right back, right? You never really lose sustained weight loss, and you never really build muscle, and it stays strong, right? And then when you take a break, you go on vacation, let's say you're working out 5 days a week and you're just maintaining. All you do is maintaining. And then what happens is when you go on vacation, it's like you lose a little weight. Let's say this is weight. Oops, let's see. Let's say you lose a little, you lose a little weight, but you're maintaining, right? But then you go on vacation and you go, whoo, and your weight just balloons up super fast. And you're like, oh, this is my vacation. Actually, yeah, it may be your vacation, okay? But it's really not your vacation. It's because you overtrained and you didn't rest. Your body had chronic cortisol elevation, right? Because here's the thing, I'm gonna jump on a side note, come back to this. If you are losing weight healthy, this is what will happen, right? You'll lose weight healthy like this, and then you'll get to a plateau right here. This is and here's a good indicator if you lost your weight in a healthy way or not. If you lost your weight in a healthy way, this is weight, this is time. If you lost your weight in a healthy way, and your body is actually better, health is better, when you get off your routine, like you go on vacation, your weight may barely increase. It'll increase just a little. But this is what happens with most people who do all these different types of diet, keto diet, whatever, Atkins diet, carnivore diet, all these type of diets. They lose weight fast, right? And then they hit their plateau, and then they go to vacation. Their weight balloons right up. This is someone who lost their weight healthy. This is someone who lost their weight and their body is not healthy. Even though they may look healthy, but they're not healthy, right? A good example of this is athletes, professional athletes. You see a lot of them after they get off, they stop, they retire, they balloon up. They do this route. Okay, but let's come back. So now, you probably heard, okay, then it's important to eat carbs and protein before you exercise, before and after you exercise, which is true. It is important. Okay. I typically will do it, afterwards, after I exercise. But here's what people don't tell you. There is a thing as too much protein. If you eat too much protein, because you want to build more muscle or you want to lose fat. They say you eat more protein to lose fat. That's true and also false. Okay. If you eat too much protein, here's what can happen. You're trying to eat protein so you don't to lower your cortisol right, to lose fat. But if you eat too much protein, it actually causes your cortisol to go up. And remember what I just said about cortisol? If your cortisol goes up, you gain weight. You store more fat, right? See, the body, you have to find a balance for your body. Now, why is that? Because when you eat too much excess protein, your body will break that excess protein to make glucose. And when your glucose rises, your blood sugar rises, then your body's going to respond and say, oh, no, my blood sugar is too high. I'm going to secrete insulin. Insulin will lower the blood sugar. Insulin puts that sugar into your fat cells. So insulin causes you to gain weight, right? So insulin causes you to gain weight. So insulin will move all that sugar into your fat cells. And then now your body's like, oh, no, 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 I don't have enough energy, right? Because it drops your blood sugar. Insulin will drop your blood sugar. So in response, your body needs to raise that blood sugar back up. So it's like this yo-yo. You eat a lot of protein, okay? You eat a lot of protein and your sugar goes up. And your body's like, oh, too high. And it drops it way too low. It drops it way too low. Then it has to raise it back up. But how does your body raise the blood sugar? It secretes cortisol because cortisol raises blood sugar, okay? That's the effect of too much protein. Second thing protein does, it causes kidney strain. Kidney is one of the main organs that helps process your protein, and it causes increased glomerular pressure, which what is that? It just worsens. What do you need to know? It worsens your kidney's ability to filter. Your kidney, in addition to your liver, is one of your detox organs. Your kidney filters a lot of the waste and you pee and poop it out, right? If you eat too much protein, it clogs up those filters in your kidneys. It makes your kidney filtration worse. People who do Atkins diet, carnivore diet over a long term will damage their kidneys. Okay. Third thing, it causes dehydration. So when you eat too much protein, your body breaks that protein into waste. It's called urea. It increases urea production. Okay. Now, urea requires more water to push out, to excrete. So it will pull water from your body into your kidneys to pee it out. So it makes you dehydrated. The last thing excess protein does is it ruins your gut. It destroys your gut bacteria. It alters it, but that's how it destroys it. It causes constipation, causes hormonal imbalance, and soon it makes you depressed because 90% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. And if you eat too much protein, protein disrupts your gut and disrupts your serotonin production. So you do need protein. I'm not saying you don't need protein. I'm just saying if you eat too much protein, then it is destroying your health. That's why I don't ever recommend the carnivore diet, Atkins diet, any of those high protein diets. We do not recommend in our clinic at Achieve Integrative Health. We're the number one acupuncture and wellness clinic in the entire North America. We do not recommend those high protein diets because they destroy people's health long term. Again, we're not looking at short term gains. We're looking at long term sustainable gains. So thank you for tuning in. Didn't see any questions, so I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and get our notification. Rewatch this video. I share a lot of information that can help you, whether you wanted to lose weight, whether you wanted just to get healthier. Maybe you're fatigued, you got brain fog, you got thyroid problems, hypothyroid, Hashimoto's. Rewatch this video and it will help you learn how to exercise, what exercise is best for you. Okay, it's not just about what type of exercise you should be doing. How you do it is just as important. It's not just as important. It's not just important to about what you eat. How you eat it is also very important. But today I mostly focus on exercise. And so rewatch this so you can know what type of exercise you should be doing, how long you should be doing that exercise that will give you the biggest benefit, right? Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you next week, same time, Sundays, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. And I'll see you.